Thank you for joining us for night 2 of the Takeover. So this might feel a little more takeover-y. I will be taking the lead today and dropping this into my feed later on. So if you haven't subscribed to my podcast yet, maybe you need a few more minutes to fall in love with me. Don't worry, it's going to happen. You will get that information at the end of the show, and you can relive this magic in a couple of weeks. We have Ricardo Corporán on the show, a local Atlanta artist and a diversity, equity, and inclusion professional who's actually a person of color. So he actually has lived experience, unlike folks that we spoke about yesterday who read a couple of books and then kind of off the cuff try and explain all the complexities of racism and marginalization. Ricardo has lived experience and then professional experience looking at this from a more analytical angle. But come on in, Nick, my lovely co-host. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. That was great. This is so interesting. I imagine this is probably what they think is happening with Stage 10. They think that someone else is pushing the buttons while someone talks. Not that it's all happening. This has been very nice.
I don't know if you heard me earlier. I was trying to say Whitcomb the way you do, and I can't. Like, I want to make it a comb.
No one knows what it is. You know, I, as a child, I was always like, what do you mean it's Whitcomb? Like, that's not how it's spelled. And they're like, but that's what it is. And I was like, okay, you just say yes sometimes.
I'm going to get there.
Also, I just want to say out loud, just so like it's not an awkward thing, we did not plan to wear the same color. I just want to
I wanted to pretend that we're either psychically connected or we're just about magic.
I think we are psychically connected, and that's why I wanted to point it out so that people aren't like, those losers. Like, I want them to know that like this is a real unity. That's happening.
Yes, it's a whole vibe. I keep having issues with people using Black slang on me that I don't know, and I always refuse to admit it. I'm just like, yeah, and then I like look it up later, and I still couldn't quite figure out like how are people using hotep like in a sentence? I don't know. And then I heard it in a Janelle Monáe song, and I still didn't really get it. So there are a lot of things that have lost me my card over the years and recent weeks.
Listen, but you know what? I always tell people when they're like, I'm going to take your Black card, I'm like, that's okay. They still kill me. So it's nothing matters.
It's like you're real enough, right? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so excited about our guest today.
Oh, me too. Oh, Ricardo.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling a little left out because you guys didn't tell me to wear purple.
But you have the theme. You have this purple.
Oh, I do have the purple lights up there.
I was just going to say, the lighting.
I'm wondering if that's really where the suggestion came from. Because when I saw, is his name Woozle?
Woozle, yeah.
When I saw Woozle in the photo, I was like, oh my God, that's such a cute picture. I just felt like we looked so cute on camera, and I love your whole backdrop situation.
Oh,
so yeah, that's probably where we saw purple.
So it's your fault.
Okay, well, if you're blaming me, well, then I guess I can't really feel that way.
I think the colors all agree. So how have you been doing? How are you doing as we approach November?
Oh my gosh. The days are a blur, and I can't believe that, we're already approaching November, and it's, that we're in October is just, it's crazy to me, because when we were first sent home from work to start working virtually and working from home, we were all thinking it was going to be a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and now we've been in the thick of it for quite some time. So there's a lot of frustrations with that. There's been great things to come out of that too. I enjoy working from home, but I am also an extrovert, so I feel like I'm also missing the connection with my coworkers, which, for me, a lot of my coworkers are my family. I really enjoy their company. So it's hard.
Yeah. And you've gotten hella pale. That's a side note.
Oh my God. For real. I'm like sitting in front of a window all day. You'd think I'd be getting some sun. And I'm just like,
It's not the same, Ricardo. It's not the same.
I did feel like at the 6-month mark, I was just over it. Even introverts, if they're isolated for 6 months, might start feeling like maybe they're ready for contact
You know,
in small groups.
here's what I'll say. Like, I've found that I was doing a lot of things because people wanted me to. And I've seen people, like I've gone on walks and I've like seen, like safely seen other humans, but like truthfully, like I'm kicking it. Like, like as long as I make sure I get outside every day and I'm like personally moving and like not stuck in this space, like I've really enjoyed. I get to control my presence in spaces, even for like seeing shows. Like I don't really like watching Zoom readings, but I get to go and like kind of be incognito and like dip out when I want to, like, which is not something that can happen when you go see a play. Which is something that wants to happen a lot of times when I was seeing plays. It's been nice to kind of like control my presence in the world, if I'm being honest.
yeah, for me, some of those things have been, just going on my walks. I go on a walk every morning. I've been spending a lot more time with my mother-in-law, which has been really interesting because we, have great conversation now. Just, developing more of a closer relationship with her during this pandemic, because we're going out on a walk together, just, having like being forced really to talk to each other and spend more time with each other. But it's really been a blessing because I'm getting to know her a lot better, and we're having some really great conversations about politics, about race relations in our country right now, which I, never thought I would be having these type of conversations with my mother-in-law. But, as a white woman, like, she's been so receptive to my point of view, my perspectives on these topics, and that's been really powerful to me. I can sit down and focus on something that I started a few years ago, and that's my art. Just focusing, my energy and my attention on something that's kind of mindless, but also helps me process how I'm feeling at the time. And that's been really helpful to me. I started it a couple of years ago just as a form of therapy. My counselor recommended that, I try it out, see, whenever you're feeling stressed out or overwhelmed and you're trying to process, traumatic memories or events from your past, try just writing it, maybe doodling or doing something that you enjoy, but also focusing, on those thoughts and try to articulate that, but into art.
Look at this. Like, it's beautiful.
Oh, I love
Thank you
it.
so much.
That is a gorgeous piece of artwork.
So, what have you been doing this year in particular to keep yourself sane in DEI? Because, already maybe some people were a little skeptical about DEI in that a lot of organizations and a lot of people of not color, unmelanated, not melanated, I don't know. Other people sometimes will, in a performative way, be like, oh, let's get someone in here to do this presentation. And then we're going to be, boop, 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 done. We're anti-racist now. Racism solved. How do you feel in the middle of a major civil rights movement working in that field, energetically?
Yeah, it comes in bits and spurs where, my passion for this work definitely is what has sustained me working in this field for as long as I have. Diversity fatigue is real. But there's also, moments where I get inspired by seeing, not so much the needle moving where I want it to go, but the stories that come out of, the work that we're doing, or the works that others are doing in diversity and inclusion space. Podcasts like these are very inspiring to me. I see safe spaces for people of color to come and talk, specifically queer people of color. I mean, that's amazing to me and inspirational to me. And, I think you just have to make time to separate yourself and surround yourself with people who look and think like you sometimes, because we can't constantly be running this marathon by ourselves, it's exhausting. You have to take a break, and you have to practice good self-care. You have to go to the Black Joy Summit and, you know, other spaces where you can, you know, celebrate with other people of color, and be joyful, because without joy, you know, without Black joy, without joy from people of color, then like this work is pointless.